Welcome to the year 3188, where dilithium comes at a premium and Orions really like sandwiches. I am your captain and host this week, Julian Brown, alongside my trusty bridge crew, Ensign Brittany Tomes, Lieutenant Hawk, the man keeping long-range sensors online, Rear Admiral Erik, and our newest crew member, Ensign Erin Copeland. Welcome.
Hey.
Glory to you and your houses. Before I say hi to the Twitch world, Erin, I just have to say real quick, our whole meeting and circumstance is just insane. We thought we just met through Podcasting Network, but it actually turns out that we've met each other at Dragon Con 14 years ago and took pictures with each other and everything. So small world.
14 years ago, and the fact that you found that photo, and we have mutual friends, and it's like it was destiny.
Destiny, baby. Destiny. Love
It was a discovery of friendship. Ha Brittany, ha!
It works.
Oh.
The real discovery was the friends we made along the way.
Oh,
yes.
My God. And then hello to everyone out there on Twitch watching via your view screen. Sorry for the delay. Season premiere woes and difficulties happens all the time. Keep your comments and questions coming all night long. We can't wait to hear from you guys. As always, a big thanks to Sam Dillard and Samo Studios for keeping our Trek-tastic intro and outro music running. And then hopefully coffee doesn't come at a premium in 3188, because that would fucking suck. But if it does, head over to our awesome friend Matt at Logical Coffee Roasters and use the code ASTRANGENEWPOD to get 20% off your first order. So we have some news. If you guys didn't notice, yesterday, day before the awesome Star Trek Season 3 season premiere, we changed up our logo, which is absolutely fantastic. We want to thank everyone so much for the warm reception that we've gotten to that. We love it. We think it's awesome. And Erik, I know you worked your ass off at making our pod look like ridiculously fresh and clean, just as clean actually as the USS Solvang. So what went into...
Wait a minute.
Hashtag too soon.
Did you take off your socks while you worked on all of that? Not your
Honestly,
socks, your
the
shoes.
static electricity might be what shut down his computer.
Yeah,
Oh.
it really could have. Dude, tell us
We don't wear shoes inside our houses. We're Canadians.
No.
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about like reworking the logo that we had and making, you know, our new look just look awesome, and kind of like what inspired you.
So on Star Trek Day, they announced how they were doing a new logo for Discovery. They're making it a little sleeker, a little cleaner, and I was like, well, shit. If they're gonna do a new logo, why not us? And I know you had talked about we had talked about doing merchandise and how our previous logo wouldn't really transfer over because of there was a lot of colors and everything was in different sections of the logo. So we wanted to make something a lot more clean cut, I guess was the term. Yeah, clean cut. So that's pretty much where I took it from.
It looks so official. It is official, but I mean, that looks like if CBS put that up and said, this is our new logo, I'd be like, damn, that's amazing. And it's our logo, so damn, that's amazing.
Love it. Before we move on real quick, we are getting a comment on our Twitch that your level is a little low, Erin. Can you turn your volume a little?
I certainly can. Let me bring this a little closer.
You gotta really turn it up. It's gotta be over 9,000.
Over 9,000.
Turn up.
Let's try that.
I'm too old for that.
Trying to do that without destroying all my lighting and everything.
To me now. You sound good to me.
Mm-hmm.
What do the people think?
Tell us, people of Twitch.
How's it sound now, Mike?
Can you hear me now on the USS Discovery?
I think so.
In the year 3000 something.
3188.
3188.
889988.
There is a slight delay on the internet, so
well, they'll let us know. They'll let us know.
Better when Mike is closer. We'll figure it out.
Use that proximity effect.
Proximity. Yeah. All right.
Julian's like end scene.
And Also, with our new logo, we launched our awesome new Patreon collective, which we're even more excited about. We already have three patrons.
We have three Brittnys.
No, there's not three Brittnys. This is obviously Sneak with Martin Green.
Yeah.
So, I wish.
Brittany joins all of our Patreons, which I think is hilarious. But we have three other patrons, and we think that's awesome that people are already joining us.
We
and supporting
love you.
Our show. Thank you so much. If you want to head over and take a look at all the awesome benefits you can get by joining our Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/astrangenewpod. And that starts, just at $1 a month if you want, or $1 a month. Going all the way to $5 a month.
All the dollars.
$5.
$1.
Profit.
I'd buy that for $1.
Our awesome Cerritos Lounge level at $5 a month. And we have some really awesome things planned for that, don't we, Erin?
We do. So one of the things we've been talking about that we are going to start is a special Drunk Space 9. And that's going to be, it's not just one thing, it's going to be a watch along, and there's going to be some fun drinking rules, but I'm going to be doing videos. I'm a former bartender. There's going to be a special Star Trek drink for every episode that will release with our Patreon. And I believe that's the $5 level, right?
Yep, that's the $5 level. The Cerritos Lounge. Makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah, so you'll get that video, and that way you can learn to make the drink before we do the actual watch along. And I'm going to do an alcoholic beverage and a non-alcoholic beverage because, you know what, some of our crew doesn't drink and they should get to have fun too. So we're really excited about that and the watch along, and we'll put more details out about that soon. But we are definitely starting with a drink because it's called Drunk Space 9. Julian, what's the drink we're going to start with?
We are going to start with some good old Cardassian Kanar, and we're going to find a way to make it taste good because most people don't think that Kanar tastes good. So we'll figure it out. It'll be fun.
Everything tastes good with a lot of alcohol.
Believe it.
Yeah, like four drinks into Kanar, it'll probably taste fine. But,
Yeah.
Speaking of our awesome new patrons, a big Starfleet shout out to Simon Stager, Jeff Reeve, and Mariah Gossett for supporting us. You too can get a personal shout out moving forward in our main episodes, but this was our first one with our Patreon, so I thought it would be fun to do it tonight too. Brittany, it is time for our favorite segment of the show, and that is the Strange New Loop.
Unsettling. I tried to brace myself for it.
Yep.
So I have the Strange New Loop for tonight. If you guys were all stranded on a planet like Michael was with only 3 items, what would they be? Twitch viewers, let us know as well. Eric's ready.
1, phaser, just because of safety. 2, I guess no, wait. So one of those short... yeah, we're spoiling the episode tonight. One of those personal teleporters.
Yeah, you stole that from me, you bastard.
3, did you? I didn't even see. Number 3.
No, I didn't write it down.
3, a replicator, because then I have everything. Bam, 3, done. I'm good.
Very nice, very nice.
I guess I should have said a starship, but whatever.
One of mine, well, you can't be stranded with a starship. Then you're like, unless you're out of dilithium, which I guess that also fits in. One of mine was a replicator as well, but can you do the replicator without the ship? I guess if you have something to plug it into.
They make industrial replicators. I'm sure they could make like a microwave, like a mini replicator.
They made a personal transporter. They might have
just like a pocket replicator.
Exactly. It's the future. Anything is possible.
And look at the beginning.
I wish you guys got to see the second episode because something.
So excited. Happy for you, but like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, replicator. I think the phaser's a good idea too, not to steal your thing, but I think that's really smart. And some sort of like emergency Starfleet kit that has like a little pop-up tent and maybe like a pillow or something.
I like it.
That's smart.
Yeah.
But the replicator can do it. A replicator can do that.
Technically, the replicator can make anything, so you have infinite amount of products.
Yeah.
It's true. I think the replicator's a little bit of a cheat, but it's Star Trek, so I'll steal it.
It's like asking for a genie in a bottle.
I do want a genie in a bottle.
Pretty much.
I'll
go. I would have a short range subspace beacon so I could communicate. So important. Also, what Erik said, because it was in my head. So, personal transporter and a phaser. So, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Good time for me now.
Sure.
I didn't take this quite as seriously.
Brittany or Hawk.
Oh, Hawk, you go first. I'll go last.
Oh, okay. I think I went a bit too practical on this. So depending on the type of planet, I'd probably choose either a compound bow or a fishing rod with some piano wire.
Why not a phaser?
Why not a phaser? Shoot the goddamn thing.
What happens?
I want to be Laura Croft.
You're right.
I also bring along a divining rod. I don't know if those are still a thing for sourcing out water supplies.
What's a
Is that
divining
like the
rod?
one that's shaped like a Y and you're like,
Yeah.
"Wow."
Yeah.
Yeah. That one you
Oh,
see in
whoa.
like cartoons, but apparently it's real.
That's
Why
a
not
real thing?
tricorder? Where's Star Trek, man?
Like the purple one, the purple tricorder.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the
These are-
TAs. The
Yeah.
TA.
The one that sounds like a calculator.
The one the alien had to like, and then he like,
Wait, that was just a fancy one. You're right.
He used up all his energy.
You're really
And
with the survival ones.
Hawk would probably live longer than all of us because all
Probably.
of our tech would probably shit out. And,
I mean,
Yeah.
their power supplies have got to burn out at some point. And what happens when you don't get rescued?
yeah, remember that
When it
alien had to
comes
poop
to
out a power supply for the cool tricorder. He was like,
Then my last thing with the replicator would be to replicate all the things you just said.
But you'd get rescued if you brought a subspace transmitter. Just saying.
That's true.
not
Julian
if
is
there's not
smart on this.
Starfleet anymore.
And
Apparently not.
if signals aren't going anywhere.
Brittany didn't say it was 3188 specifically.
All I did was say if you were stranded on a planet like Michael and you only had 3 items, what would you bring?
Well, like Michael, she's in the future. There are no rules.
Yeah, it's
No
true.
rule.
True. So
I
my
was
last.
originally. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. My last item.
Oh, yeah.
I had a. People always bring a book along on these kind of questions. So it'd either be a copy of Dune or Robinson Crusoe. I feel like both would have some sort
Dune.
of knowledge.
Dune.
I have
on
no
part.
Damn.
comment for this. That is a good choice.
How about
I
you,
was
Brittany?
originally gonna be more serious like Hawk in that I was gonna bring like my limited edition Ellie backpack stuffed with like gear because I do have a bow and arrow and know how to use it and a personal knife. But anyway,
Oh, wow.
enough about Ellie. I changed my mind and I was like, everybody else is gonna be serious and practical. So one thing about this episode is there was very much not enough Saru in that I'm very sorry because there was no Saru. So I am going to bring my Doug Jones Abe Sapien action figure with me as my first item
That'll keep you.
with his head that switches in and out with his goggles.
I love it.
Then second, I'd bring Saru himself because who the hell else would figure out how to get off a planet? He already did it before.
Mm.
Third,
Very
I'd
nice.
bring Doug
Fair play,
Jones
fair.
because he is one of the best actors ever and would be infinitely entertaining. Plus, he's a crazy contortionist, so we could literally find a way out of like the worst sort of close call situations.
Well,
I like your
Jamie,
list. That's fun.
That's my love
Yeah.
letter to Doug Jones because I'm so sorry you weren't in the first half of this opening of the show.
Eric. Eric knows. All
I don't know
right.
what you're talking about.
That was a
You
great
shush. You shush.
That was
Well,
a good strange.
I figure
view
he's
of
going to show up in a part 2, but I'm like, why did they only do part 1?
the-
Oh, by the way, Julian, after I sent that thing earlier, I realized that the second link was up there, and I was like, oh.
Indeed. No answers from Twitch. Anybody want to get in our strange new loop real quick? We'll read some answers if as we go in. So feel free to put those in the comments. We're gonna move on to our review of season 3, season premiere of Star Trek Discovery. That Hope Is You. And Erin, as our newest crew member, would you like to read the episode synopsis?
Oh, should we say spoilers for anyone in the
Spoilers.
Obviously,
This is spoiler
it's a review.
show. So if you have not watched the episode, you should use your personal transporter and yeet out of here and listen to us in podcast form.
The Delta particle.
Yeah.
Just-
And if you have, hello, stick around. We're going into some awesome spoilers. And that was your warning. So red alert. Shields up. Erin, give us some synopsis.
Okay, so I'm going to read the synopsis we have here. And guys, like any show, there's an A, B, and sometimes a C plot. But for the season premiere, the episode follows Burnham and Book, and we don't see Disco at all, right? And that was crazy. I was like waiting for that. When what did we think of the way the show opened?
Oh, no, wait. Sorry. Wait, did you read the synopsis?
I thought that was the synopsis. It's right under the thing that says synopsis.
Oh
no, you know what? I'm reading the wrong part. It's my first time, guys.
Okay.
She's a new ensign,
baby.
Lies, it's all staying.
Yeah, you didn't see anything. I'm supposed to read that first little part, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, here we go. Guys. Arriving 930 years in the future, Burnham navigates a galaxy she no longer recognizes while searching for the rest of the USS Discovery crew.
That was literally the episode. That was it. That's the episode, guys. Bye.
They could have called it Burnham Alone.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah. They make these synopses on CBS All Access really short and sweet. Sometimes like they're a paragraph, and this is just like a sentence. I love it. But that is not what we do. We go into the meat of the episode.
The minutia.
The minutia, the primordial ooze, as Q would say. Before we get into that, we do have a Twitch comment, better late than never, for our Stranger Loop. Maniac88net said, "Can I bring people? I'd bring Data, Odo, and Q." I think it's a great answer.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Oh, I don't know about Q, though. That's chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, can't get worse.
And Q could get you off the planet at any time.
Oh, is that Shouse?
Yeah.
Hey, Shouse. How are you, sir? All right, let's get into the review. Guys, we talked about it all season long during Lower Decks. Most of those episodes had an A, B, and C. Sometimes a C plot. But for the season premiere Disco, the episode strictly follows Burnham and Book, and we see no Discovery. The ship is not in this episode. We don't see the crew. What did we think about the way the show opened? First with Adil Hussein, who I want to talk about later because I thought he was brilliant. As the Federation liaison, setting up the same way every single day, brushing his teeth, putting his box down, and sitting down, waiting for someone to show up. And then Michael coming out of the wormhole, crashing into Book's ship and crashing on the planet. What did we think of? Like, that was a crazy 5 minutes.
No, I will say that with the first season moving to the third season, every single year they move to a more cinematic shooting style. And this, if I didn't know that this was a TV show, I would think it's a movie. Like it was perfectly shot. Like all their camera movements, they upped the game like so much. Like the CGI, the music, everything was just done to such a perfect degree. Seeing the beginning with what's that guy's name? What's his name?
I have it in the notes. It is
Adil.
Well, the character's name is Adicha Sahil. So we'll just call him Liaison Sahil.
Yeah. So the Liaison really brought back some lost memories of Desmond doing his cycle over and over again, trying to get the hatch going, and he sort of lived that sort of life. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But going straight into like the battle, the one thing that threw me from this sequence was that the guy that was chasing Book looked like one of the orcs from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
like he looked like he looked like the guy who said meat's back on the menu, boys.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
I'm gonna stack you like a stalked pig.
And it just
what about
threw me the whole time.
I don't need that feet.
But other than that, I thought it was amazing. I like that. Remember when we were looking at the trailer, we were like, oh look, Burnham's going that way and Discovery's going the other way, and we're like, nope, that is totally off. That was not Disco at all. I like that Book's ship looks like a book that's flattened.
His ship is.
Oh,
I find that funny. Or
the man is
whatever.
a book.
Yes,
He's got layers. We're gonna find out all these different chapters of him.
He's like a parfait.
I thought that administrator. What was his name again?
Sahil.
That gave me vibes of the opening of BSG way back in the day.
I'm sorry. That's what I mentioned before the show, and you stole it from me.
Oh, I didn't know there was that scene.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the guy, and he's sitting there, and every year he shows up because it's been 40 years since the Silent War. I'm sorry, Brittany, I did not know that was what you were talking about. But you know what? We're on the same. We've got the same wavelength.
We are.
Same wavelength.
He did the same role. He's a liaison who's sitting there just to meet with somebody at a table. And he does it every single day. And in BSG, it's the same thing. The dude shows up And every year on the same date, he waits to meet the Cylons, but they never show up. And then the one time he thinks they aren't, they do. And then it happens here. But
this guy doesn't get the death kiss, so.
No, thank God. No kiss at all.
That we know of.
Not yet. You see like a Cardassian walks in with like a red dress and is like, "Are you alive?"
Dressed like Kim Kardashian? Oh God.
It would be a Cardassian too. I do want to say one thing about the opening because it was that really awesome action sequence. I thought it was absolutely out of control because they got rid of
Wesley.
I was proud of it. But yeah, I really liked this episode, and I especially loved the liaison. Oh, but I will say that I know we're going to get into more of the episode later, but Michael Burnham in this episode was everything. And the first 5 minutes that I saw, like right after she crashed and everything, it was just, I tweeted about it right away, but I was just like, I missed this character. Like I missed this actress playing this character. And like, as soon as she landed and did her little like, yeah, there's other life forms, like her screams, I was like, yes.
Do you remember a couple episodes ago, you were talking about how you had read an interview or something about how this is the season where Michael Burnham isn't burdened by all of the stuff in the past and she's just herself. This is her finally being her true self. If this isn't, oh my God, like she was so good in this episode. And it makes me happy for the rest of the season because if
she feels free.
If those walls start breaking down, if she's breaking down books walls that we saw we'll see in the episode, yeah, I'm down with that. That's amazing.
Hawk, I will say, oh, go ahead.
Erik was right. I got that same feel on that, like the way, like the kind of even just the visual game is kind of like up there now. It looks a lot more cinematic, especially like what they're dealing with, like real landscapes and planets and that, and they're doing like a really fantastic job. And yeah, Michael definitely. There's hints that she's a different character in this season. As we see a little later on, and that when she gets a nice big whiff of aerosol truth serum.
That was so much fun. I loved all of that.
Yes, we will definitely get in that.
I know like the quote by heart. Oh yeah. I was just gonna say that I also thought she had a nice landing because I'm pretty sure they filmed that in Iceland.
Shut up, Wesley.
And
shut up, Wesley.
She was falling at like 200 miles an hour and girl survived. So like that was a nice landing.
Yes, heat shield. Thankfully,
it's pretty bananas that she survived hitting another ship and then doing that, but I'm here for it. It's Star Trek. Let's do it.
Heat shields.
Super amazing time travel technology.
She's flying around like an angel through space. Who gives a shit?
Look at Iron Man. He survives that shit all the time.
It's true. It made sense to me in that. I mean, this is a bodysuit that jumps through time in that. So I mean, it's got to be able to stand up a lot of pressure.
I mean, Book even says like that was made out of pure titanium. We haven't seen anything like that in decades.
She's like, I'd like to see you tritanium that again.
I will give this the premiere one more thing. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I've shown her Disco season 1 and season 2, or at least the beginnings of it. She doesn't really it's a lot of talking for a 6-year-old, right? But she saw this episode and she's like, oh my God, I need to see more. I was like, yes, you do. Yeah, you do. We will watch more. And
hey, your guys' kids are going to be perfect when we have the show with Janeway.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's going to be
Prodigy.
Great. I'm so excited. We move forward from her confrontation, double cross, and eventual kind of back to being friends arc with Michael and Book. What do we think about their initial fight on the beach, which was beautifully choreographed, by the way? The eventual double cross in Requiem by Book, which is kind of not a double cross when you think about what he's doing, but we could obviously talk about that. And of course, the sequel to Hi Tilly, Hi Burnham.
Well, the double cross, I will say one thing. You can't judge a book by its cover.
Oh!
I said that. I made that joke last episode.
Did you? Damn it.
You do not get to say that.
I don't remember yesterday.
Last episode.
At once, because that was just... Oh my God.
How dare you steal one episode later.
It's fun. I like how when Brittany makes a pun, we're all like, oh my God. But when anybody else does it, we're like, yeah!
Yeah, because it's expected of me.
Yes. Yes.
I tried doing that counter for one of the episodes, and I was like, nope, this is taking too much.
Yeah,
There's
he
too
gave
much.
up after like 20.
It was something like that.
If
And you know
somebody
what?
wants to count who's watching this and let us know.
To quote Burnham, yes, I feel that. I feel you. I get that. My friend has red hair, and you definitely can't give her any.
That was awesome. I love it.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. Or no, you cannot give her any. Like,
Yeah.
oh man. Dude,
So
when she
good.
talked like that, her fucking chatterbox mode, I was like, wow, this is me.
That seemed like it was really cathartic for her, though. You could sort of see her being like, just letting it all out.
Hmm.
Therapy.
There was still a little bit of
Therapy works,
Starfleet training
guys.
going
Therapy
on.
works.
A little bit.
Oh, definitely. Because she was like
You-
withholding information, but like talking a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked how Michael during this kept on like punching him in the face. It was just like, I'm gonna punch you in the face for this thing you did to me. I'm gonna punch you in the face for this thing you did to me, and I'm also gonna punch you in the face for this thing. Like she kind of owned him.
Yeah, she
How do
did.
you
You should never judge a book by its cover. Did we already make that pun?
Yes.
I
They just had a
literally
fight
just
over
said
this.
Which is why I did it. I'll see myself out.
Look at Brittany. She's so sad.
I'm going to bury you both somewhere.
You can't come to Canada. You're not allowed.
I've been there before.
We're not allowed
I'm
anywhere
sure
anymore.
You're not allowed.
They're keeping us where we belong in our
That's
little
true. I'm not
hole.
allowed.
You can't go out to play till you do your homework.
Hawk, let me run this question by you. Hi Tilly or hi Michael? Which one was better?
Oh.
That's so hard.
It's super difficult.
Yeah, it's been a while since I saw Hi Tilly in that, but for
it's
now I'm
Michael.
gonna say hi Michael.
It's
That
Michael.
it was
That is the
amazing
answer.
just to see all the shields drop on her and that, even in the strange new situation and that she was trying to follow some sort of protocol and that, and then boom, this is truth serum.
I really want to tell you about it. I really do.
This episode just goes to prove we should all McHale Sonequa Martin Green.
What were you gonna say, Erin?
I was going to say, I think it's really interesting to see Michael go into the future. And normally with Star Trek, we see people out of time coming to their time on the ship. And that's always been really interesting. How do people from the past handle the future? But now Michael Burnham is that person. And she comes from a futuristic timeline. And so it's interesting to see how she adapts to that. And it's definitely a lot quicker than, remember Enterprise and those people from the past. That one guy was like, but my money. And I really like that sort of juxtaposition. It's just a different take. And I think it's interesting.
Yeah. One of the things that really just shocked me was one thing that Star Trek has always been, experimenting with, besides transwarp drive, because we have to bring it up every single episode, is transporter technology and what are the limits of transporters. And I thought that was so cool, the way they used that to choreograph them running away from the Andorians and the Orions. The effect for it was really cool, and it's not unbelievable in the realm of Star Trek that is the next evolution of the transporter. Like, I wasn't like, oh, come on, like, really? Personal transporters? Like, no, I mean, it worked. It made sense. I didn't have any issues with it, and I thought it was one of the coolest things about the episode. Before we move on to the next part, sorry, what were you going to say?
I did. So in this section as well, it continued from the beginning where we saw how interfaces are newly used and how they sort of come out of the ground. We talked about holographic technology, but this was more like, I don't want to say nanos or nanobots, because they were bigger. Like, everything was just coming out of the ground and everything was just built. That bird alarm clock,
So
I wanted
cool.
so much. I wanted it so badly. But it looked real. It didn't look like a hologram. Like,
I love the tactile displays. I thought they were absolutely fantastic. I like how it
Better than Picard, for sure. I did not like it.
100%.
Who wants to hold their hands up like this the whole time?
No, your arms
But
would get
in the
tired.
thing, it's
Nobody.
cool.
I loved how it looked like it actually interfaced with you.
Mhm.
I thought that was really, really awesome.
And then it just disappeared like sand. It's like sand.
It reminds me. It's basically like a combination of 3D printing and magnetic sand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We have some Twitch comments here. Shao says that hi Michael, the acting was absolutely incredible, and Yeah, he also said that was another Battlestar Galactica storyline where they had to jump every few minutes to escape the Cylons. From
33.
First episode, 33
is
minutes.
the best episode of television ever, which is
Agreed.
100%. Yep.
Yep. I'm on board.
Yeah. Absolutely agree, Shouse. Let's move on to something that we've been talking about for a few episodes now of our podcast, kind of theorizing, and we did a whole episode about Omega, about what the burn was going to be, and we get an idea.
And we were sort of right.
Yeah, we're kind of sort of right. What the burn is, and then
stupid Gorns.
We played off of it.
Yeah. So one day, about 120 something years ago, all the dilithium in the galaxy just kaboom! It exploded. We have to give some credit to Mariah, one of our new patrons and co-host of Star Trek Discovery Pod, for calling it on our 10th episode that it would be something dilithium related. So
she was right, and she wasn't wrong.
That is correct, Brittany. I'm not even going to shame you for that. That was delightful. So I guess I want to ask you guys, what does this mean for the galaxy? Michael said it best. I mean, dilithium is at the literal core, warp core, of every warp-capable ship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how long was the break between people not being able to get around normally using, warp, and then transwarp, which is, that's Voyager, man. And what was that gap like, and why was Star Trek or Starfleet not able to make the jump to
slipstream drives, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what Book was using, right? That wasn't the normal warp. That was the effect from Picard. That was a transwarp conduit.
But he said that he had to find the right slipstream to get in, right? He couldn't always get the right one, so he couldn't always go.
It's like finding Nemo. You have to get in the current at the right moment.
Yeah, that's true, though, right?
And what does that mean for the Borg? We're 900 years in the future. Like you were talking about with the transporters. They obviously haven't conquered the galaxy, so that's good. But who are the Borg in the future? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, we really haven't seen.
They're probably really Borg.
Yeah.
Just they can't move. They're sitting around. They have no one to conquer or assimilate.
Borg
out of their minds.
I forgot what I was saying. Oh no. So we got a glimpse of the Borg in Picard, but not really, right? Really, our last main encounter with them was the ending of
Voyager.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brittany. Wait, did you finish it?
No, I just know about it because you guys talked about it.
Keep on ruining it.
We won't stop talking about
but the events of the I wonder how far-reaching the events of the finale of Voyager occurred to the Borg as a whole, right? Because it must have crippled them at
yeah. No, 100%. I want to know, the effects of that, obviously, but I completely lost my train of thought because you were pretty much saying it. I think I had an idea there. But
the Borg, it's like, I love that Discovery and Lower Decks, all of the new Trek has been bringing Voyager a lot more into the fold because, sort of by design, they were outside of everything that was happening in that sort of age of Trek that we all sort of grew up in. But they were in the Delta Quadrant, and people for us, it's been 20, 25 years, but for them, it's, I feel like those effects should start reaching into the other worlds. Even though, whatever time, space. But I love seeing that these stories being interwoven because that's what we love about Trek.
And they're bringing Enterprise in.
Yeah.
As well, which I love.
I love how you're like, for most of us, it's been 25 years. And I'm like, for me, it's been a day since I watched Voyager.
That's the best,
I am
though.
in it now.
You're getting it fresh. And that's my favorite series. So
Hawk,
awesome.
Go ahead.
So in regards to the dilithium, I was thinking about this and I was wondering why their kind of engine technology hadn't progressed much in probably 800 years at that point. So I'm guessing this is kind of a comment on where we're at with the fossil fuel industry. That we know it's bad, we know it's eventually going to run out in that, but at the same time, nobody really seems to be taking the steps to get away from it in that. So I'm wondering if the Federation, through some sort of, because of the economics of doing it, or because of people providing it, I don't know. I think that this seems to be a comment on relying on one fuel source, and that would at the when it's obviously illogical.
Yeah.
I thought there was one really interesting comment where Book says that the Gorn have ruined, I think it was the Gorn
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Gorn
The
wedding.
Gorn had
Stupid Gorns.
destroyed part of the subspace near them. And I wonder if that's touching on the mega particle that we had talked about 2 episodes ago. Like they're pulling from so many things in just this first episode, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So you're saying their Gorn make the same mistake?
You need a timeout, Brittany.
I do.
I think this could be a number of things that we talked about on that episode, right? Destroying subspace, you immediately think Omega, right? Like that's what Omega does. Are the Gorn experimenting with it? I think it's a good bet. We also know that the Federation put in a warp 5 speed limit when they realized that going at speeds faster than that was also destroying subspace.
Mm-hmm.
Would people, like anybody following a speed limit, actually follow it? Maybe not. I'm guessing that we're going to find out all the answers to these questions as the season progresses.
I have one question, and I can't remember this, and I love Enterprise, but they never ever explained what the Enterprise J was running on, right? Like, because it's a time ship,
warp, though, right?
It did, but
yeah,
I don't know. It just
yeah.
It confused me.
Well, speaking of that, Eric, because I know that, dude, when I was watching this episode last night during the virtual premiere, when Book said temporal wars, I was like, Erik is gonna cream his pants.
I did. I meant I got excited.
I get hard. I'm not hard right now, but I could get hard.
Everybody's Ransom.
Thanks, Ransom. Yeah, I mean, how exciting were you to hear that? You know, those are canon and those are that happen.
Well, it's one of those parts of Star Trek lore that people just seem to gloss over, like always. And even though Voyager had touched upon the time agents and but not really the Time War, but Enterprise, their main storyline was about the temporal Cold War. So to know that it's not just swept under the rug was it was good as an Enterprise fan. Right?
And a big deal, right? Because it apparently killed probably millions, maybe billions, like the Dominion War did, and all time travel technology as a result of it was banned and destroyed. So
yeah.
Changelings aren't real.
These are real. Dominion War didn't happen.
Prove me wrong.
During this episode, we also find out that I think this is the best word to describe him. He's an eco-terrorist, right? That's what an eco-terrorist is. He's stealing, maybe, right?
Ivy from Batman is an eco-terrorist.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. He's
I would
more
call
like
him a conservationist.
Yeah, conservationist.
Conservationist.
A space
and
conservationist.
Is stealing and rescuing endangered species and bringing them to sanctuary planets. What did we think of this? This was like a really cool, unexpected twist on the Book character, and that he's got some special powers too.
Yeah, is he human? Because he lit up in the forehead. He's got to be some sort of something.
We only got like little inklings, and he said like for the most part his people are just hunters and conquerors and that, but once in a generation and that one of his kind is born, which is like it goes in the opposite direction.
I'm just saying, if he says Akuchimoya, I'm going to lose my shit. So,
Mariah had mentioned in a previous episode that there's a part of the trailer where Tilly is hugging a tree, and we started talking about the conservationists or climate change and all of the eco stuff that we're going through right now, and how it may play a part in this season. And having Book do all of that, it's looking more apparent. Like
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing's for certain, he does hold a grudge against people.
You know what? I like that one. That was good.
Too.
And you never know, because he literally does hold grudge. And Tilly, she could be, involved in a treaty of sorts with some intelligent.
Nope, that one. Nope, not that one. I like the first one.
You like the first?
I like
That's where you draw the line. Here, no further.
Here, no further.
God damn it.
I want to run this one by you too. I made an answer in Twitch, but I want to get your guys' call. Shouse asks, if there's no Federation, who is enforcing the ban on time travel technology? I say that I just don't think any species or any planet wants to fuck around with that shit anymore. Time travel is,
and they don't have the resources probably. I mean, look at how difficult it was for them to do what they did with Burnham, and they had everything they needed. So
I know what they did. They probably put everything on the Excelsior, and then they just lost it.
yeah.
I'd say it's across the board. Sorry.
They put it on the Enterprise B, and they just couldn't get it because every time they would just ask Tuesday. So Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
The episode
Maybe it was stored on the Soul Bang.
Yeah, there it is. The episode ends with Book taking Michael to an old Federation relay station, which, even though it's all decrepit and beat up, looks really freaking cool.
Cheers.
I know, dude. I cried a lot during this. Manned by Adita Sahil, who, in my opinion, was 100% the breakout star of this episode. If you weren't in tears
oh my God.
during this scene, I don't know. How emotional was this scene for everyone?
I teared up.
I cried.
Yeah, I cried.
I full on
for sure.
cried.
He was so genuine about his love for the Federation and how much it meant to him and his family that you couldn't feel I couldn't feel more pride for him meeting Michael. Like, I felt like, you know, when you have like a little brother or little sister and you're just like, they did something good. I love it so much. I felt like that for this random character. I never knew.
Well, and he literally he's given his life to this, keeping this thing alive. Like he said, he's been doing it for 40 years, I think, something like that.
Alone, it looks
40.
like.
She's probably the
40
first
years.
person from the Federation he's seen since then.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So like for me, I was crying for both of them because she thought she was all alone. She doesn't even know if she'll find anybody else in the Federation other than her ship. And then she sees him, and then he sees her, and it's just so heartwarming. And I'm like,
and then
crying.
the flag, and it's just like, oh my God.
And she's like, it's an idea, it's a belief. And I'm like,
I'm getting
have faith.
goosebumps.
When-
I gotta have faith of the heart.
Yeah. Oh man. When Book had told her that the Federation was gone, like you could just see that it sort of devastated her, and to know that this hope was brought alive by both of them meeting there and having that flag moment. Oh my God, why am I tearing up?
Well, and beginning of the
But
episode,
the hope is you.
at the beginning of the episode, she's grounding herself with the things she knows. She's saying her name, the ship, her serial number over and over again. And then she's just grounding herself in what she knows, because she also knows that she's in the future, everything's going to be different. And I think that it was sort of the same thing with him. Like they were grounded in each other, and that it gave them hope. And I thought that was really, really powerful.
Yeah. And she also literally did ground herself in the beginning. She hit that ground pretty hard.
You'd think that I would have set that up for you, but you're just that good. You like
my daughter saw that part and she was like, is she okay? I was like, or did she hurt herself? I was like, probably.
You guys should call me Captain Spike, because if you serve it to me, boom, I'm scoring.
The fact that Sahil is holding back tears and actually does shed a tear, the fact that there is now a Starfleet officer standing in front of him who can finally give him a commission and raise the Federation flag, something we talk about on this show, and I talk about with our co-host from Everything is Permitted, Matt, a lot, is the Federation and how this, Starfleet and the Federation are this beacon of hope, but also not without its issues and corruption. That's such a lot in Picard. How did it feel to kind of just like have that just pure hope and energy, even though the Federation is in shambles, that there is hope stemming from the United Federation of Planets flag?
I mean, look at what we're all living through now with COVID and everything. And for those of us in the States, it's like, oh boy, like seeing someone who has had hope for that long and has held on to something because it meant something, and it meant that there was a chance that things could get better. That, I think, that takes an incredibly strong person. He could have been doing anything with his life, but this is what he's doing. And we see every day he's doing the same thing. And that gives me hope, because if someone cares like that, then that makes the rest of us care. And then, like he was there for Burnham. Like, what if he wouldn't have been there? What would she have done? Yeah. So,
on Twitch, real quick, Shouse asks, does he have other motives? He
felt suspicious of him.
Suspicious about him. I disagree.
I didn't personally.
I think it was meant to be a very pure scene. I thought it was filmed that way. I thought it was acted that way.
But you never know.
Of course not. It's Star Trek. You never know.
Star Trek.
I'm not getting that feeling personally right now. Glorious Zarafa also said, I cried, so we're not alone there. Anybody else?
Emotions are good. Emotions are good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just the fact that, like, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you mentioned about, like, what we've seen Starfleet at its worst with corruption and everything on that. But this is just a guy who's non-commissioned, this was basically a duty that was kind of handed down to him. And really all he's carrying is like the original idea of what the Federation was supposed to be. And the fact that he just embodies like this pure idea, and just dutifully, just, you know, as any Starfleet officer would, just kind of dutifully goes about his daily routine every single day, even 40 years on, without any kind of reward or, you know, I guess
Yeah.
he's hopeful, but he goes about his duty, and it's like kind of the purest representation.
Of duty, right?
Yeah, the purest representation of what the idea of the Federation was supposed to be, and this guy just carries it like a lighthouse keeper.
I like that they both kind of showed that as well, because Michael Burnham, even in the beginning when, you know, she gets in trouble for, you know, kind of taking over the ship and doing things not the right way. Like, she has this love for the Federation that's so deep within her and like really believing in Starfleet and what it's for. So her also finding another character that feels that way. And those are the remaining people of Starfleet that we actually see for this season so far. We haven't seen anybody else, just these two people. And they have that core love that's like so pure and so deep. Like, that just reminds everybody watching the show why they love Star Trek to begin with. This is what we stand for. This is what we do. This is devastating what's happening. Like, we are devastated too. That's why we're crying. We're crying because we're hopeful and we're, It's
that hashtag on Twitter. We are Starfleet. They are Starfleet.
It's also amazing because Lower Decks Mariner also had that core belief. Like, she didn't care about the rules, but she understood what the Federation meant to people and what it was supposed to mean for everyone.
And Michael became something that Vulcan believe in.
All right.
It's sort of like the Jedi too, because when the original movies, the Jedi were extinguished from the galaxy and all there were stories. But there were still people who kept up the hope, like people who carried the torch of what the Jedi were supposed to be. And I feel like that's sort of what these people are doing, what's happening there. And so I think that's pretty cool.
I didn't like The Last Jedi, but the ending of The Last Jedi and having that reignited hope was probably my favorite part of that movie. I know I've talked to Julian and Hawk about this movie a lot, and I don't like it, but the idea of hope.
We had conversations about it, unlike other people. So there's something I want to touch on here that's a bit controversial. Some people watching live on stream or in podcast form might not know this. People who got to attend the virtual premiere last night were surprised and got to watch the second episode of the season. That is a bit of a humble brag on my part, but it's also a bit concerning to me, and I want to get your guys' take on it, because letting people watch that and then expecting them to sit on spoilers for an entire week, when I think that this as a two-parter, having seen it, would have worked much better. I didn't have any problems with the episode, but I think like we've waited long for Discovery season 3, right? It would have been nice to have both episodes.
They did that.
Go ahead.
They did that for the press, because all the press people got the 2 episodes so that they could do their reviews,
right? Because
it's a single story for the episode, and that's how it moves forward on the news cycle.
You just got lucky on press day.
We had this issue with Picard too. Like, had those first couple episodes been together, it would have flowed better. Had these first 2 episodes, been together, they would have flowed better. The people that haven't seen the second episode, how do you feel about just getting the first part? Like, had you known that this was like a big 2-part story, would you have been affected more, or do you care?
I mean, at least for me, I was excited when you told me. I found out not too long ago, and I thought that was cool for you. But for me, it's fine. Honestly, like, we're all starved for content right now, and I bet it's not impossible that they weren't planning to show this as a 2-parter back when they filmed it. But now that we're in COVID, where there's not a lot of new coming out, they're taking the extra week of actual brand new content. I bet that could be a factor as well. I'm good with it. Yeah.
You know what they were probably going to do? They were going to probably film short treks in the summer, and they never got a chance to.
Yeah. I love short treks.
Yeah. Hawk, sorry, you had something.
It also means we get to do an extra episode. So.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I like that. So more time to spend with you guys. Any issues with the episode? Anybody have anything they wanted to touch on there real quick?
I just wanted to mention with the 2-part. I said before we started recording that I agree that both Picard and the show should have had like their 2-parters shown together. because I think as much as I did like this as a standalone episode, I also know that there's more. So as much as I was saying like, oh, I'm sad Saru's not here, he's most likely in the second part. So like
Yeah.
But I would like to see it all at once. But that happens so much in Star Trek. You have like 4-part episodes or 2-part episodes, and then you got to wait the next week. So we just got to deal.
We do have a couple comments on Twitch. Glorious
Zurafa
says about this the 2-part thing. Always want to watch more. Let's be honest. That's fair. And then Shouse wrote, I had heard that there were 2 parts shared and was a little disappointed that everyone didn't get both. I wouldn't have cared if I hadn't heard about it. That's
fair.
That's the annoying part.
Yeah. So guys, speaking of Twitch, everybody on Twitch, if you guys want to share your ratings, we're going to get to ours in just a couple of minutes here, but get them there so we could read them. Go ahead, Erik, real quick.
I have one more thing to talk about the episode before we move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't talk about the opening credits, which has changed, and they reorchestrated the theme, which...
Did they?
Yeah, it sounds really good.
It's new, and they added sound effects as well during it.
I'm going to have to re-listen to it.
Yeah. They're just on their game, and the little hints of how technology is moving forward in the credits and the little the Delta
robot?
Badge robots.
Yeah.
The Delta Badge robots. They look like Eva.
Star Trek Discovery Pod made some awesome Instagram stories. Like, are they going to run into the Axios? Or whatever this was called from Wall-E?
Exocops.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I love the transformation of the badges. That was such a cool effect.
And the phasers.
Yes, and the phasers. That was cool. If we're going to touch on one more thing from the episode, I just want to say, going back to near the beginning, middle of the episode, I absolutely loved the Orion guy who was just like, I hate this job.
Yeah.
I really just want to go get a sandwich. Like, you're a shitty courier, and then gets eaten by the space slug. That book, which we barely talked about, but we're running out of time. That book saved, which were super cute, even though it almost ate Michael.
She had quite a day, man. She really did.
She was like, I did not expect my day to turn out this way. I loved that. So, anything else we want to touch on the episode before we move on? No. All right, guys.
Just great acting.
Great acting
all around.
Erik,
she
just to
needs
touch
an
on
Emmy.
Oh, well,
Already.
Yes, 100%.
One half
That
of an
space
episode
slug was
and
amazing.
She needs an Emmy.
I just have to say real quick, Jeff Russo is on his game, like you said, Erik. And the fact that you got to give a big round of applause for the entire orchestra who worked on their score pieces from home on individual instruments and then sent them to Jeff Russo to get engineered.
Holy shit, they did that?
Yeah. Did that. Everybody
Oh my
recorded their
God.
instrument in their home studios and then sent it to Jeff Russo, and he spliced the score together. That's literally why season 3 of Discovery was held up and delayed, trying to figure out how to get the score done.
They did that with Lower Decks too at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's amazing. I had no idea. I thought that was studio record. Holy crap.
Yeah. Glorious Zarafa says slug slime and hair is not cool. Agreed.
Yep.
We took a Twitter instant poll earlier today to get everybody's reactions to the season premiere, and I'm going to go ahead and read those results real quick, and then we'll do our rating and the Twitch ratings. So out of, I believe it was 15 votes before I looked, I'm going to see real quick if it got updated because I tweeted it out. So...
And we all did that online Trek quiz thing too, so we can all quick say who we got.
We did. Oh, here we go. Here's our poll. So it stayed the same. So with 15 votes, 53% loved the premiere, 33% said it wasn't great, and 14% said they were on the fence. So that leaves the question to you guys. Overall rating for the season premiere of Disco Season 3 out of 10 pieces of dilithium. We will go with our newbie first and then go Brittany, Hawk, and Erik. Go ahead, Erin.
It was 9 pieces of dilithium out of 10. I thought it was really amazing. It was super fun. I loved watching Burnham get high. How could you go wrong?
Nice.
I think the piece I'm missing is that I want to see the other part of the crew, but maybe that ties back into what you were saying before about it being 2 parts, but not 1 part, but 2 parts. But 9 out of 10 dilithiums would put it in the warp core.
Nice.
I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 dilithiums, but just for this scene. Damn. That one part, I was just like, I love where this is going. And then right afterwards, when she went 80 miles a minute, like how I speak, I was just like, whoo, Oh, girl. Emmy time.
Oh, damn.
Who's next?
Hawk.
Me or is it?
You are Hawk.
I would give this at least 8.5 because it was a solid episode and that it made me want more, but this was a great Burnham episode.
Mm-hmm. Personally, 10 out of 10. I think out of all the Discovery premieres, this is my favorite out of the 3. Even though there's no Pike in this, I know. But this hi Burnham. Yeah, no.
We're
10 out of 10.
We're so used to seeing low Burnham, you know?
Yeah.
She's always low. You gotta see high Burnham occasionally.
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 dilithium pieces, just because having seen both episodes and talking to Karen before we watched the second episode and getting to tell her that we were going to watch the second, she was like, I'm glad we're getting to watch the second because that would have felt a little cheap not getting to see the crew. So I do agree that
way to spoil it.
I
come on.
I feel like if they had just labeled these as 2 different episodes, people would be way more fine about it.
Agreed. Going over to Twitch, Glorious Zurafa says, I loved it. It was inspiring, beautiful, hopeful, 10 out of 10. And Shouse, 8.5 out of 10. Need to see more of the crew and would have loved to see the second half. Great Trek.
Great Trek.
Yeah, Great Trek is a very good way to describe this. Hi, Michael. God, Brittany, you acted that so well. Dang.
Right? Well,
so good.
We should hire
I love
her.
Sneeko Martin Green.
Yeah.
Like, you guys should see me at home. I reenact things all the time. Like, it's embarrassing.
Real quick, what did we get on our Star Trek quizzes? Erin, same order.
What?
I'm Pike. What up?
I'm also Pike.
Well, we'll give yours later on Discord.
I'm Pike.
You're Pike.
Yes.
Sure. I got
We're all
Tilly.
Pike.
I got Tilly. I love it.
But you are a
I love that
Tilly.
too.
I am a Tilly.
I'll share my hair with you.
There you go. I'll take some.
Love it.
Thanks.
There you go.
All right, guys. To all those on Twitch land, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you for sticking with us through our technical difficulties. It means a lot. And then don't forget to catch episode 11 of the pod tomorrow, right at 8 a.m. And then this will be dropping a few hours later at noon. So usually we release these the same night, but longer episode season premiere, we're going to drop this at noon. So you also have a little bit more time to listen to episode 11, which is our nice tribute to all the number ones out there. So that's a fun one. And then following the end of this stream, directly following the end of this stream, join us on our awesome new Discord server as we take Erin through the DS9 journey for the very first time. We're going to start with Emissary Parts 1 and 2. So exciting stuff, guys. So that's going to do it for our Disco bonus pod. For Erin, for Hawk, for Brittany, for Erik, I wish
For Doug Jones.
Good night. For Doug Jones, Majram, live long and prosper.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.